A Man in the Bottle. On a warm starlit night in a small village in Africa, a young boy named Edosa made a discovery that would forever change the fate of his village. It began with just a bottle, a simple dusty glass bottle. But what lay inside it was beyond anyone's wildest imagination. Edosa was an adventurous boy, always seeking excitement beyond the verdant hills that cradled his village. His days were filled with chasing goats, climbing trees, and playing hide-and-seek with friends. Yet, on this particular night, Edosa felt a yearning for adventure stronger than ever before. The air was thick with the scent of wet earth after rain, and the soft songs of crickets played a symphony in the background. After a warm bowl of maize porridge for dinner, the villagers sat under the great Iroko tree, sharing stories of great ancestors and mythical creatures that roamed the night. Edosa's imagination sparked with each tale, but he couldn't shake off a feeling that something extraordinary awaited him outside the gentle glow of the fire. That night, he slipped quietly from his hut, running barefoot through the cool grass towards the riverbank. The moonlight cast a silvery sheen on everything, making the world look magical. As he approached the river, he noticed a faint glimmer amidst the rocks. Curiosity piqued, he waded into the water, the coolness sending delightful shivers through him. As he bent down, he picked up a dusty old bottle that seemed to gleam with a life of its own. It was unlike any bottle he had ever seen. It was adorned with intricate carvings that spiraled around its neck, telling tales of ancient times. Edosa quickly wiped the dirt away with his sleeve, and that's when he spotted it, something rolled up tightly inside the glass. Driven by a mix of excitement and trepidation, Edosa returned home, clutching the bottle tightly. When he reached his hut, he could hardly contain his anticipation. The dim light flickered as he grabbed a butter knife, determined to pry open the bottle's seal. His heart raced as he worked at the cork until it broke free with a satisfying pop. With trembling hands, he lifted the paper out of the bottle. The ancient scent wafted through the air, filling the room with mystery. Edosa unfolded the fragile parchment and read,
"Beware the bottle, for within lies a spirit of old. Call upon me, and your wish shall be granted."
A thrill ran through him. His imagination began to race as he contemplated the possibilities. What wish would he make? Instantly, visions of wealth flashed before his eyes. He could have everything he wanted: food, toys, and even respect from villagers. But a deeper desire stirred within him. He wanted to help his village prosper. Without hesitating, Edosa held the bottle tightly and called out,
"I wish for a man to appear from this bottle."
What happened next would haunt and thrill him forever. A powerful wind rushed through the hut, extinguishing the flame of his lantern, plunging him into darkness. Edosa shielded his eyes as the room filled with a blinding light. When he could finally see again, he gasped. There, standing before him, was a tall figure cloaked in a shimmering robe. The spirit was magnificent, with skin that glittered like gold and eyes that sparkled like stars. Edosa felt both fear and awe wash over him.
"Who dares summon me?"
The spirit boomed, his voice echoing throughout the hut, yet somehow instilling Edosa with calm.
"I am Edosa from Africa, a 12-year-old black boy from the village of Kwame. I found your bottle and wished for you to appear,"
he stammered, summoning all the courage he could muster. The spirit smiled, a warm and understanding gaze lighting up his face.
"You have summoned me, child, and for that I shall grant you 3 wishes. But heed my warning. With great power comes great responsibility. Use your wishes wisely."
Edosa felt the weight of the spirit's words. Here was the chance to change everything for his village.
"I wish for endless food for my village,"
he exclaimed, picturing the joyous faces of his family and friends at a grand feast. The spirit nodded and raised his arms. With a gust of wind and a flash of light, the room was suddenly filled with the mouth-watering aromas of traditional African dishes: jollof rice, succulent chicken, and steaming vegetables. Edosa's heart leapt as he raced outside to witness the miracle unfolding before him. The villagers gasped in disbelief as tables appeared, overflowing with food at the village square. Joy erupted as children squealed in delight and adults clapped and sang. Edosa felt a swell of pride in his chest, basking in the admiration showered upon him. For the next few days, the village celebrated, feasting beneath the stars, sharing stories, laughter, and gratitude. Edosa's popularity soared. He had become a local hero, the boy who had brought blessings to the land. But as the days turned into weeks, Edosa began to notice something unsettling. The abundance of food, which had initially brought joy, now bred laziness. People no longer worked in their fields, instead choosing to gather around the tables, gorging themselves without a care for tomorrow. During one village meeting, Edosa observed the disheartened frowns of the elders as they spoke of dwindling crops and barren fields. The initial joy had turned to concern. The village was losing its spirit of hard work. That night, Edosa sat alone, pondering his next wish.
I want my village to prosper again.
He thought aloud.
I want them to work hard like they used to.
The spirit appeared at his call, a glimmer of amusement dancing in his eyes.
A sincere wish indeed.
The spirit replied.
But a reminder, prosperity must come from within.
Edosa nodded earnestly, his heart racing as he articulated his desire.
I wish for the villagers to regain their motivation and work ethic.
The spirit raised his hands once more, and a torrent of shimmering golden dust rained down over the village. Immediately, a wave of energy surged through the villagers, energizing them. In the early dawn light, Edosa awoke to the sounds of laughter and shouts. He rushed outside, astonished to see villagers eagerly tending to their crops, chattering happily as they worked side by side. As days passed, the fields flourished. Edosa's heart soared with hope, but soon, his joy began to fade again. The newfound prosperity brought with it something unexpected: greed. Neighbors began to argue over land, whispers of jealousy echoed where once there was camaraderie. A rift appeared in the community as villagers became obsessed with who had the largest harvest. Edosa felt trapped. He had wished for them to work hard, yet instead, he had sown the seeds of division. With a heavy heart, he realized he needed a third and final wish, a wish that would restore peace. Gathering all his courage, he spoke.
I wish for unity and peace in my village.
The spirit reappeared, looking at Edosa with a raised brow.
A noble wish, but understand this. Unity cannot be compelled. It must be nurtured from the heart.
With that warning, the spirit waved his hand, and once again, the village was enveloped in a mystical light. A shimmer danced over the villagers, who suddenly halted, mesmerized by what they saw. Before them appeared a mirror, reflecting not only their faces but their actions, desires, and disputes. They stood transfixed, watching the images of their grievances unfold before them. Edosa watched, holding his breath, as villagers began to recognize their missteps. They saw how petty disagreements had grown into larger conflicts, how their hunger for wealth had overshadowed their love for one another. One by one, they began to speak up, reflecting on their choices, their motivations, and their responsibilities to each other. Gradually, the rift began to heal as villagers came forward to apologize, to forgive, and to understand. Edosa saw laughter return, but now it was coupled with hard-earned respect. Community meetings resumed under the baobab tree, this time with discussions on cooperation and solidarity rather than disputes. Edosa felt an overwhelming sense of relief as the atmosphere in the village transformed back to one of unity. He turned to the spirit, gratitude filling his heart.
Thank you for the lessons you've taught me. I understand now that true change comes from within and cannot be forced.
The spirit smiled, looking proud.
You have grown wise in your journey, Edosa. The power to lead your community lies within you.
With a flash of radiant light, the spirit vanished into a swirl of stars, leaving Edosa alone with the now empty bottle. He looked around at the village, which had transformed from a place of indulgence back to one of hope and collaboration. Years passed, and under the baobab tree, Edosa grew into a respected leader. He knew community prosperity required dedication and understanding, qualities he instilled within the hearts of his people. Villagers learned the importance of balancing hard work with enjoyment, realizing that true wealth lay not only in abundance but also in unity and shared aspirations. Edosa's tale became folklore in the village, a cherished story passed down through the generations. Elders recounted the adventures of the boy with a bottle, emphasizing the importance of responsibility in the face of power. Children would gather around the baobab tree, eyes wide with wonder, as they heard about Edosa's journey. Villagers sometimes spotted the same old bottle washed upon the riverbank and remembered the magic it once held, but they understood that their true magic was their strength together. In the quiet of the night, as stars twinkled like diamonds above, the villagers would gather and remember Edosa, the boy who learned that greatness comes from the heart. The story of the man in the bottle echoed across valleys and time, reminding everyone that while wishes might bring temporary change, it is love, hard work, and community that ultimately create a lasting legacy. Edosa's journey reveals that while we may seek quick solutions through magic or wishes, true and meaningful change comes from within and through community solidarity. Though the bottle held a spirit that granted wishes, it was Edosa's wisdom, compassion, and the bonds of friendship that ultimately transformed his village for the better, teaching generations to come that unity and understanding are the most potent forms of magic.
If you enjoy my story and the general feel of this content, please subscribe to this channel so that you will be among the first to be notified when we post a new content, and please make your comments on what you like about the story.